Welcome to the Congregational Church of San Mateo. We're so glad you're joining us for our 9th online service, and so glad you're able to connect with us on live stream this way. So whoever you are, or wherever you are sheltering in place and sheltering in love today, may you feel connected. May you draw strength from being together. I want to say a big happy Mother's Day to all of you out there who have mothered in some way. And also at CCSM, we celebrate Family Day. And so today you'll hear some wonderful reflections from an intergenerational group of people, children and youth, young adults, some of our seniors. And we're also delighted to have with us today Rabbi Jhos Singer, who we call our Rabbi in Residence, our own Rabbi, and he will bring a brief reflection as well toward the end of the service. So settle in wherever you are. Expect to be surprised by some moment today in the service. Something will touch you. I have watched this many times, as you might imagine, and each time I found myself in tears during some moments and laughter in some others. But I felt lifted up by this service, and I pray that you will too, that you will draw the much needed strength and hope and courage and sink into love, having been together. We'll sing our opening hymn, Holy, Holy. There'll be some words on your screen, and then we'll be able to hear some Happy Mother's Day messages and sheltering in love messages from folks. And then we'll also hear some reflections of what it means to shelter in love. So be as fully present as you're able to yourself and to one another online. And let us sing together, Holy, Holy, Holy.
Making memories. We had plans and they got scrapped, and they continue to get scrapped. The constant, as our plans fall like dominoes, is our home and our family, including our animals who bring us so much comfort as we shelter in place. While we grieve the loss of the memories that we would have had, we need to remind ourselves we're just making different memories. We have more time with and for each other. We're not spending time in traffic, and we're hearing the birds in our neighborhoods for the first time in years. While some milestones will not be celebrated in the same way, graduations, proms, birthdays, we will find new ways to celebrate and make new memories. When I was a child, we had a house fire that broke out in the middle of the night. We narrowly escaped with our lives. That fire is something I will never forget, as we had a celebration of life the next day that brought our family closer together. In the same way, this time is giving us the space to spend time and celebrate each other, whether it's playing cards, games, or puzzles, or Zooming with family members. These are the memories we will hold in our hearts for a long time to come. Whether you are a mom, a grandma, an aunt, or anyone who invests time in children and helping them make these memories, this is a day to honor the gifts you provide. And a celebration is in order. It might just be a walk in the neighborhood or a takeout meal together, but remember to pay attention to the new memories you're making. They're just as meaningful as all those fun things that keep getting canceled. Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
This is a picture of a mother bear and a baby, and the reason I drew this or painted this is because it represents nature and family.
Hello, church family. While we've been sheltering in place and taking refuge, we've found comfort in many things. We've experienced joy and comfort in our garden. We recently built 2 more raised beds in addition to the one we already had. Building the raised bed with my son Jack, planting the vegetables together, watering the plants, and seeing them grow has been comforting and calming in these uneasy times. We have been going on regular walks as well around our neighborhood, connecting with and checking in on neighbors and feeling connected with our local community. We hope this continues after the shelter in place is over. We've also found joy in connecting with family and friends more than ever via FaceTime, Marco Polo, and good old-fashioned phone calls. Honestly, for me, this is the most connected I've felt in quite some time, and that has definitely been a silver lining for me during this whole experience. Having 2 little kids during this time, although hectic, has been a blessing in that it has forced us to focus on what is right in front of us and not get so caught up with all that is going on. Their needs haven't changed, and so it's up to us to keep their world as normal as possible. We are trying our best to make that happen. We feel blessed to spend this time with our kids and soak in these fleeting years of their lives. We miss you all and hope you are doing well. Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Our family is like a fruit tree. Our mom is like the roots, the creator and foundation of the whole tree.
Our dad is like the trunk, the strong backbone that holds the entire family up.
My brother is like the leaves that bring life and light to the family.
My sister is like the fruit, sweet and colorful.
Our dog is like a little bumblebee, energetic and bringing joy to the whole family. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
so much, McKinnon, for that beautiful piece of music, and thank you, Malia and Holly, Stephen and Kyle and Quinn Shirley, for those beautiful moments that we shared with you. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us. And I invite you all now in this moment to take another deep breath together and to let go of that which you do not need to carry, to find that stillness within. As Melanie sings, "Shelter Me," the song that we heard last week that has been written for these times. And make it your prayer that you are sheltering in love, and that because of our time together, that we have all learned how to do that in a better and more loving way. Melanie will sing, and then we'll have a message for all ages from Cheryl, and then some scripture, and then you'll hear some beautiful reflections. So be lifted up as we shelter together.
Shepherd and sheep, my God and I, to fresh green fields you'd led my steps in days gone by. You gave me rest by quiet springs and filled my soul within your loving presence brings. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. The way ahead is dark and difficult to see. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. All will be well if only you will shelter me. Yet now I walk a different way. Death dogs my path with stealthy steps from day to day. I cannot find your peaceful place, but walk in dreary darkness, longing for your face. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. The way ahead is dark and difficult to see. Oh, shelter me, oh, shelter me. All will be well if only you will shelter me.
I love so many different images and different ways to think about God. One of my favorites is thinking about God as a rock, something that's stable and strong and that has existed for a long time and will continue to exist long after me. Sometimes I like to think about God like a redwood tree, something tall and beautiful, majestic. Sometimes I like to think of God like the starry night sky, infinite and mysterious. And another image of God that actually appears in a few parts of the Bible is God like a mother hen or like a bird. And I really like that image a lot too, and I've been thinking about that one a lot in this time as we've been sheltering in place at home with our families. I like the idea of God as a mother bird who's going to take us under our wing and protect us, but also to comfort us and to take care of us and to know what our needs are and to be ready to fill them for us. And so in this time of sheltering in place and on this Sunday when we're thinking about our families and how we're grateful for them and what they do to support us and support our faith development too. I invite you to think about, parts in your home where maybe you feel cozy, maybe you've built a blanket fort, or you have another part of your room or your house where you feel especially comforted and safe and close to God. And maybe think of that's a place that you want to spend some extra time in when times get rough or when you need to feel the embrace of God. And I also invite you to think about the ways that people around you have been like that mother hen to you in these times. People who have comforted you and taken care of you and given you a soft place to fall when things are rough. Because I think that all of that is so important to be grateful for and to remember and to give thanks to God for.
Psalms 57. Be merciful to me, O beloved. I open my heart to you, for in you is love and wisdom. In the shadow of your wings I will find peace, until the fears that bind me are transformed. I cry to the source of all life, to those eternal one whose plan is wholeness for all. Send your angels to awaken me, put to rest all that keeps me in the darkness. The beloved will send forth steadfast love and light. I lie at night in the midst of dragons, fears that seek to overpower me. They rise up and taunt me. They seek control of my life. Be exalted, O Holy One, Creator of the galaxies. Let your glory be all over the earth. My fears have woven a web like a spider. They seek to trap me. They live within me, gnawing at my bones. They bring only suffering and despair. Yet in my heart I know, beloved, that love is the healing balm for fear. I will sing and make melody. Awaken my soul. Awaken to love's song. I will awaken the dawn. I will give thanks to you among your peoples. O heart of my heart, I will sing praises to you among the nations, for your steadfast love fills the universe and makes a home in my heart. Be exalted, O Holy One, Creator of all the galaxies, for your glory reigns all over the earth.
My name is Mike Mullery. The theme of this week's service is sheltering in love. Keep me attentive to your presence in my life, O God. That phrase is from a book of stories about mystics and about the mysteries of life itself. Certainly this pandemic era is one of uncertainty and mystery. When will it end? Will I get the virus? Will it harm any of my family or friends? There are no known answers to these questions right now. Only in the future can we begin to understand the present. That being so, how do we survive amidst so many deaths with great uncertainty? Keep me attentive to your presence in my life, O God. Last year, my wife Lee was diagnosed with 2 threatening illnesses. As we listened to the doctor, we were devastated. 62 years of life's ups and downs together had not prepared us for a finding of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in her. Our children and grandchildren feared they would lose her loving presence, and so did I. 14 months later, God's loving presence has sheltered me from the doubts and fears I felt at that time. After her diagnosis, and later with the onslaught of this coronavirus, I have fully realized just how much I have always loved her and still fully love her now. This time of fear, doubt, and extreme anxiety about the present and the future has pushed me to be more loving as best I'm able. Certainly despair and anxiousness is present in my life, as I'm sure it is in yours. Certainly I grieve at the huge number of virus illnesses and deaths the country and the world have already undergone, with more still to come. But last week, Reverend Penny preached about sorrow and joy being intertwined, that from great suffering may come the ability to live more deeply and to find joy each day of our life. Once again, I found myself reminded of the presence of love in so many places in our world. Keep me attentive to your presence in my life, O God. That reminder of God's ever-present love guides me to love more deeply and courageously than before this pandemic hit. Though at times my heart is heavy, and at times my spiritual beliefs are greatly tested, I still find myself sheltering in love, and for this I'm eternally grateful.
Hi everyone. Cheryl asked me to say a few words today about the theme for today's service, sheltering in love. So obviously we've all been doing a lot of sheltering lately. Most of that has been sheltering in place, at home, trying to stay safe. This type of sheltering, by intention, brings us away from others. It isolates us at home. It helps to stop the spread of a virus, sure, but it also strips us of our social and our community bonds. It's every person for themselves, sheltering at home. And that's only if we're one of the lucky ones, one of those that actually has a home or a place to safely shelter in. So if sheltering in place means seeking safety at home, what does it mean to shelter in love? If sheltering in place isolates us and brings us away from others, I think that sheltering in love brings us to others, enfolds us within others. Where do we find this love? Well, according to Psalm 57, we find it in God, by taking refuge in the shadow of God's wing until the storm passes. But I think we find shelter and love in a lot of other places too. The love of our families, the love of our children, the love of our church, the love of our community, the love of our county, our state, our country, our world. This type of sheltering tells a different story. Instead of self-isolating and sheltering at home, seeking safety in love. I want to tell you a short story. So for the last 2 months, I've been volunteering with Kaiser Permanente to bring COVID testing to the nursing homes and skilled nursing facilities throughout the Bay Area. We actually travel to the nursing home or facility, perform on-site COVID testing for those that otherwise might not have access to it. Now, these are people that don't have the privilege of sheltering in place. They cannot socially distance because they require other people to help provide care for them. In many ways, these are not often pleasant surroundings. Some of these facilities are COVID hotspots. Some of them have been in the news and the media, and some of them are even being investigated. But this one patient stands out in my mind. So I was doing this COVID swab for this one patient a couple weeks ago at one of these nursing facilities. Unfortunately, this was not one of the nicer ones. And mind you, this is not a pleasant test. People describe it as having the front part of their brain swabbed through their nose. And I've had this done myself, and that's a pretty accurate description. After we were finished with the swab, this young gentleman turned to me and told me, "Can I ask you a question?" So here I am in the middle of a COVID outbreak in this skilled nursing facility in full personal protective gear. And I looked at this gentleman and I said, "Sure, ask away." And so he proceeded to respond to me, "I wanted to ask you to have a wonderful day." So, okay, it wasn't really a question, but he did ask me something. He asked me to have a wonderful day. I can promise you, my day was going a heck of a lot better at this point than his was. But he was worried about me. Amazing, right? And so just like that, in the most unexpected of places, in the middle of this nursing home, in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic, I found a moment of divine love, sheltering in the love of this young gentleman. So while we are all forced to shelter in place a little while longer, let's also shelter in love a little bit longer. Let us, as Psalm 57 reminds us, remember to take refuge in each other until the destroying storms pass by. Thanks, everyone. It was so nice to see you all today.
It's really good to at least imagine seeing you. I am so grateful to my dear, dear friend and colleague and Rabbi Penny Nixon for inviting me to offer a few words. I'm not used to doing this by myself, so I invited my cat to be another living being in the room with me. I hope that's okay with you. I hope she behaves. Sheltering in place. Hello, that's what we came here to do, right? The minute we leapt from the womb to the world, we started mastering the art of sheltering in place, creating shelters, creating places where we could find safety and comfort, where we could stay out of harm's way. The thing is that right now the entire world is engaged in this. The entire world is engaged in how do we stay safe? How do we find comfort? How do we love and take care of one another and take care of ourselves? The Torah teaches us, "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. This is a core central teaching to both Christianity and Judaism. And here we are. This is the time. If we were ever going to try to master that teaching, now is the time to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's sheltering not only in place, that's sheltering in love. Love of each other, love of this life, love of our Creator, love of our faith. And we're going to bump into things that are going to test us, that are going to challenge us, that are going to push us outside of our comfort zone as we go along the way. But it is through those challenges and through being fully present to everything that's going on right here, right now in your life, the good and the hard, the sweet and the bitter, that will bring joy into our proceedings. Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory, great teacher of mine, someone I miss very, very much, taught this in his amazing book called "This is Really Happening and You Are Completely Unprepared." And when we speak of joy here, we are not speaking of fun. Joy is a deep release of the soul, and it includes death and pain. Joy is any feeling felt, any experience we give our whole being to. We are conditioned to choose pleasure and to reject pain, but the truth is, any moment of our life fully inhabited, any feeling fully felt, any immersion in the full depth of life can be the source of deep joy. So now is the time to find that joy. And part of the way that we do it is through love. And that requires us to let each other know we love each other. It means picking up the phone or sending an email or a text and just saying, "Hey, I was thinking of you. I love you. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha." Love your neighbor as yourself. It requires putting that mask on or washing your hands 5 bazillion times a day. And every time you do it, you should say to yourself, I am loving my neighbor as I love myself. Now is the time to fully commit to being fully present and fully alive. Now is the time to commit to the gift that you were given by your Creator, your life, this shelter, this place. I'll end with another poem, a poem that's been seeing me through. It was written by a friend of mine named Anna Talhami. She's a beautiful poet and thinker and writer. The poem is called Reckoning. You have to know you're enough. And then you have to remember. Then you have to forget and tumble into the soft darkness and let it hold you. Sometimes, if you're lucky, it will whisper to you secrets like, this is happening. You are alive, even if just barely. And when you are on the edge of mercy, in that pillow embrace of that God that you call pain, you have to let it toss you back into the earthen world and lay you on its ground until you say, I do want to be here. And this time, I mean it. I want to be here. I want you to be here. I want us to be here. And I look forward to the next time that we can all be together, sheltering in faith, in heart, in love, and in place. Blessings.
Thank you, Gabby, for that wonderful harp piece. And thank you, Frank and Mike and Rabbi Jhos for touching us so deeply with your honesty, your authenticity, and the love that shone through each of your words. As always, CCSM, we want to make sure that our love is through action. And today, our plate offering goes to an organization called Mothers in Need. And on this Mother's Day, we want to be generous with our gifts. This organization provides diapers to needed families. Diapers cost between $80 and $100 a month. And when you're on a limited income, as millions are across our nation and thousands and hundreds of thousands are in our region, that $80 to $100 is a lot of money. And also, if babies don't have clean diapers or access to diapers, they can't go to daycare, which means they don't get early education. They can't go to daycare, so that means their parents can't work. So something as small and simple it might seem as diapers and accessibility and availability to those impact a family greatly. And so today, we invite you to text your plate offering, and everything that you give today will go to Mothers in Need, serving the larger Bay Area. So know that your $100 gifts provide diapers for a family. In your bulletin, there's a link to the organization so you can see all the things that they do. Thank you in advance for your generosity. And thank you to everyone who is part of this service for offering yourselves so lovingly and honestly and beautifully to this beloved community. As we go forward today, may you have courage and may you have grace. And let's sing together our closing hymn, God of Grace and God of Glory. Again, I want to thank you for joining us today online. It means the world to us. Seems like we have a growing virtual membership across the nation. And it's wonderful to feel connected across time and across space. Remember that you are with us always. We want to leave you again with peace, something that we all need. So we invite you to sing it with us. Peace, peace, peace unto all. Now, beloved, hear the words of Jesus, who taught us to love. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and neither let them be afraid. My peace I leave you, my peace I give you, a peace that the world cannot give and that the world cannot take away. And may the blessing of the Holy One, that source of unconditional love itself, remain with you now and always. Amen.